I wonder if this has any consequences. Jesus! Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is a game in which your boy, Edward Kenway, must battle through enemies, steal loot, earn coin, destroy the native economy, and sometimes shoot people. All for the goal of becoming a respected farmer in the board game and making it to the big yar. So how is this gameplay? Well, after the game finally starts up after Ubisoft nearly lost your account and all the games tied to it, you come over here, choose an empty save file, type in Yario, but with one R, so I do that with the first character, and hit start. Well, this is what would start a family-friendly farming game. As Dekaivn says in the album, but we're not decided about fishing. There's no way we're taking down that ship with this. Now, Jews are calling me that favor. Now that's more like it. God, what an introduction. Good thing we have plot armor.
The magazine! Let's go now!
Don't worry, guys, we have plot armor.
Douse the flames! Get in there, you mongrel!
Don't mess with me, man. I got plot. Apparently, I can't swim. Let's reminisce about my Mesopotamian household while I drown. Wait, woman! Oh god, I'm drowning! Never mind, I got plot armor.
Was it good for you as well? I can pay you. Isn't that the sound you pirates like best? 100 escudos.
Keep talking. You don't have that gold on you now, do you?
Bloody fucking pirates!
I'm on to you, Snakesby!
Welcome to... I don't know. I wonder if this we're going to set up a pre-classical farm. The visualization seems to imply it's good land, but I really can't think about that. A river would be more preferable. Ooh, some wood. Every resource game needs wood, right? So this should be a good start. Free meat. Let's take a look at what will soon be our own farming empire. No balls.
Posh git. Where's he running to?
Well, clearly he's running to set up the farm, though. This is Assassin's Creed 4 Farmer's Flag. Every game needs some kind of currency. This is even start up a farm. Ooh, some collectibles. Snap. I mean, I will forget to read this and some more I don't. The game still. It's a thought that counts. Ooh, pigs! That's gotta be important. And if not, we can probably sell it. Good thing we're master hunter. These guys won't escape me unless they learn how to fly. They fly now! Get back here, you aeronautic piece of meat! Maybe it shouldn't be popular this entire
Keep your
island.
distance!
Whoa, buddy, don't. I got blood! Alright, that's it. Now I gotta face this farmer's wrath. He's got a health bar. The first human enemy in 15 minutes and it's a boss fight? Oh jeez, I don't know if I can kill him in one hit. Do you have any farming equipment on you by any chance? No, but he does have a letter which is speaking to me.
Senor Duncan Walpole.
Must be some Acadian Spanish mysticism. At least he's got some nice drip.
Mr. Walpole, let's collect your reward.
Actually, it's a bit too hot. Always gotta look behind waterfalls for any more aeronautic pigs! I don't know what this has to do with farming, but hey, this could make a border stone to mark my farmer's territory. The paper's aeronautic too! Boy, I bet there's some mad farming techniques for all this work I'm doing. Oh, there's a guy down here the entire time. I probably shouldn't get involved. Hello there, my fellow maroon compatriot. I see you have a ship. I personally would like to return and plow a field grazed by a god-ordained king or queen, and you seem to be of the agricultural sort. Edward Kenway, professional sailor and privateer of the Mesopotamian rivers. Sailor as in someone needs to bring the produce to market, and privateer as in farm is the rightful way to farm. Excuse me as I go back here to pick up the cherry tree. Although I have worked my family's field since I was old enough to get a hoe of my own, what have you?
Trafficking cargo from my plantation and such.
Ah, Barbados, eh? Well, I've never been over there, so I guess we both got stories for each other. My favorite story is how our barn had a closed-off section from which no animals escaped. No horse, no goat, no chickens, except for me. See, this one time I was sent over to feed our horses and
Fantastic work. Very promising.
Who the fuck? Alright, so the whole Assassin's Creed Prodigal Flight series has two stories going on at once. One is the current day where Templars looking into the memories of past assassins and recover artifacts, and the second was in the memories doing the actual hard labor on the fields. I learned enough here that it's annoying, slow, it's all in the first 2 minutes, and also French. Most point is that the guy gets a name her Melanie LeMay. Bro did the Melanie lame joke for me. Melanie LeMay? More like Melanie gonna make me gay. Havana, 1715. 2 years after the War of Spanish Succession, 2 men of British origin step onto a formerly hostile fort to get away with the treasures of the New World to fill the colony's coffers. Look at this bustling town. No worries, Bonnet. I would be lost here too the first time I came knocking around. Give me a second while I climb one of the highest buildings in town. Hey, my friend's being robbed. But nice people here in Havana. Now, let's get a drink after a long hard day of avoiding death and get back to planning out my own farm. Oh look, the second Englishman we have met out here. I sure hope our relations are as calm as with the first one.
One more.
Still a better ending than last time. Apologies, Bonnet. I thought the man was perusing for a bruising, and I ain't got my family's plot. Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry for the trouble my wee business has caused you. I just wanted a bit of coin to start playing Assassin's Creed 4 game flag. Here, as compensation, I can at the very least break into the town's largest garrison on my own without being detected, because that's how you play the game when you want to have fun. To find out where they keep it. It's the least I can do to a fellow respectable producer of Mother Nature's children. Here, some coin from the devilish fiends that sought to ease your pockets. Now then, I believe I've kept the governor waiting long enough. A fancily clad man and a man with an easily recognizable face by the name of...
Woods Rogers.
Oh, a pirate hunter. Well, anyone who does not interfere with my family's trade is a friend of mine. Let's have a bit of Bronze Age sport, shall we, lads? And then there is the governor, the Grand Master of something called the Templars of this region and blah blah blah. The optional objectives means it's more closer to what actually happened, so Edward did in fact rob these free people right after meeting them. Although I must say, this whole business with some super artifact and this mystery man who can find it, and the strange enemies we have fought in the streets, it's just a bit too much, you know? I came for the quiet farmer's life, and this hustle and bustle and mystery and commotion, and it's just a bit too much. But there's one thing I agree with. The payment for something that costs us so much blood is a bit disappointing, to put it mildly. However, if the super artifact is as grandiose as the old landlubber claims to be, well, a short life but a merry one. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? But before then, let us get everything this town has to offer. Every single chest, every single fragment, every single assassin's contract which I can receive for some reason, manuscripts which I will forget to read. Oh, there's some people in need of help.
Pulled me from the deep there, Captain.
Strange that they respond to me as captain. I'm not sure why an ancient farmer like myself would have any renown amongst these illegal brigands of the seas. Ooh, chickens. Go over to the
cadaver
glowing treasure map, which just happens to link to this exact same settlement. And this poor lad was left to rot behind the church as well. Though damn if it does not have a pretty sight from up here. Look at these ships, stone walls, the Castillo, the rows of houses, the guardsmen fighting more pirates down there. The strange shadows. Ooh, a kitty cat. I mean, I'm more of a dog person, but I'll still take it. Doggy! More floating sheets of paper. Excuse me, brother, but may I borrow your money? God damn, dude. I know the guards have an actual salary, but you have as much money as this slave. Jesus. More chests. In fact, so many that I was able to purchase the best swords and guns before I left. Not that I know why I need these as a farmer, but hey, it might come in handy. Anyways, where did Leo over I went on the side of Jack Durand? As long as I don't get detected, everything will be alright. Damn it. Alright, a hurricane's come this way, so this entire fleet might get scuttled in a moment. As the kind-hearted men that we are, we have collectively agreed to save as many vessels from the storm as we can. Unfortunately, we only have enough hand for one brig, but it is the thought that counts. Although unsung heroes we are in a rather precarious situation. We got no farming equipment, we kind of don't know where we are. One of the only two major settlements kind of has it in for us, and the only things I have are a crew whose farming experiences consist of, none, and, but hang on. This is Assassin's Creed Trader's flag. Perhaps we can become merchants instead. Like, yeah, farmers are important, but you gotta get the food to the people, you know? And with colonialism, you need to send it far away. So sailors are still needed, and that is one thing these men can do. But we face the old problem of any business venture. We lack capital. We lack the resources and the coin to start up a business, let alone maintain it. And in the meantime, we sit in the West Indies. One of, if not the most profitable trade routes in the entire world, while all around we see merchant schooners carrying on the valuable cargo we seek. But the only thing that separates us from them is our superiority in firepower. Your Alexa, play on your Jolly Roger by Running Wild. That's right, you have been misled, led astray, bamboozled, deceived of your trust. Jack Rackham carded. Kicking the balls. That's right, lads and lasses. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is actually not a game about starting a peaceful business venture to feed the population of the world. No. The game title Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which with the clear distinction that the flag lacks any other color apart from black, is in fact a game about the only faction of people to ever use a black flag.
Pirates! The ship's here! Pirates!
I know. I myself couldn't believe when I first saw this game 10 years ago, but it's true. The game, which begins with a naval battle, clearly showcases how detailed the naval combat is in this game, and psyching us up for when we could recreate it at any moment's notice, where it's clear that we are
privateer.
A precursor to pirates, and have 2 slip-ups, which revealed we are pirates by now, and with a main character who speaks highly and proudly of Nassau, the hotbed of piracy, and with several mentions of pirates and piracy in the area, is actually set during the golden age of piracy. I know. Why are we here? Well, mainly is to show people who have never played a game in this long-running franchise that there are good games. And no, it's not Assassin's Creed 2. And I guess an optional objective would be to show to everyone how badly the same devs made a game in the same genre a decade later. But as of yet, I cannot confirm that because I refuse to see how far we have fallen. In this game, we are actually pirates. Okay, that's minus 1 point for me. Our mission is to plunder the Caribbean for all it's worth. Minus 2. And to accomplish this, we shall need the fine crew of our vessel, the Jackdaw. Minus 3. I didn't think we would need a crew for what I thought was a farming game. And its venerable captain, Edward Kenway. Hey, at least I got that one correct. Our quest is to show those wigheads what happens when you mess with the strong, capable men and women, actually just the men, of the New World. And prove to everyone that this game is better than Assassin's Creed 2. And it is here, in the land of poverty, plague, ignorance from the crowns, that we set sail. For despite all the negatives of these lands, there is one thing they hold in abundance. And that is plantations, gold, slaves, and merchant ships by the dozen. Now then, captains, come along. We got a ship and crew, but first we need to learn how to sail it.
It ain't work if you love it.
Alright, let's get down to basics, lads. We're pirates. That means we be plundering for booty and plundering for booty. The non-board game is 5 resources, 3 for crafting and 2 purely for selling. Selling is straightforward. Here's my rum and here's my sugar. I will now be buying a battering ram. That last part was a joke. Crafting is also sellable when you have surplus, especially cloth, but if you want to upgrade your ship you will need both money and resources. Of those we have 3. Cloth, wood, and the most important one of all, metal. Trust me on that last one. I don't care if you have 1,000 metal before your first upgrade, don't even look at wood. Especially don't look at cloth. I never counted rum and sugar, but let me tell you, you find a brig with 30 or something metal, at first you might think, oh that's pretty good. Mate, I'd be looking at frigates and man o' wars with 100 metal each, and I'd be a dehydrated man as a hell knowing that that is the most I can get, and yet I will still be poor. Offensive, defensive, offensive after offensive, the no, all of that needs metal. It ain't a lot, but then again neither is armor and Terraria, so sure. If you want to take on a frigate with the starting guns, I give you 1 minute. Now to find yourself some resources, there are 4 things you're going to need to know. Actually, I forgot with the 5th one is subdivided, just like my cargo hold. And it only comes into effect after the 4th one, which is in where the divided cargo hold is, aka a ship. First thing, the spyglass. You see a ship in the distance, you pull out that spyglass. It tells you what the ship is, its level, but most importantly, what loot it carries. Again, sugar and rum means money, and metal is worth its weight in gold times 3. Another thing you might find is ammo. There are fire barrels, more shots, and heavy shots, which are part of the ship upgrade that I'll get into in a second. Another interesting thing is the flag and name of the ship. Now, the name is purely random, but the flag is something you may want to pay attention to, because there are 3 types of flags. Spanish, British, hey look guys, the Brits and French surrendered during this week on our history. The Spanish and British are the only noteworthy exception, because these 2 will actually fight each other. Yes, you heard that correctly. The war is over, and pirating is also over, but that don't mean that bad blood between the 2 nations is over. So if you see something valuable and currently under attack, you can fully attack them and not be attacked by the other ships because they're not allied. Just make sure to board them to get the loot, because if they get the killing blow, then you get nothing. But don't attack anyone unpacked because their friends will turn to their fellow countrymen. Also, pirates exist. Is that a pirate gunboat? Hey watch, I just got a new haircut! Second thing, boarding. When a ship is nearly dead, it will lose all momentum and the ability to fight back and be open to boarding, except for gunboats. Boarding is a set of missions you must accomplish to ensure that the enemy ship gives up. If you can accomplish it with a swivel gun, then great, and if not, then I will explain the schmooze later. But upon completion, it will allow you to either A, repair your ship, fully healing the current health bar in the next one, B, reducing your infamy, your actions with consequences, or C, adding it to the fleet which looks a little something like... Give it a minute. And as a side note, you can sink any ship instead of boarding to get half the resources, except for money, which will always be the exact same amount. And this is also a good way to get crewmates. You're risking more during boarding. Third thing, what type of ship there is. See, our ship, the Jackdaw, is a brig. For simplicity reasons, the ships in this game are, from level 1 to 5, a gunboat, a glorified cardboard box with a sling, a schooner, a car trunk with a musket, a brig, now we're getting somewhere, a frigate, the guy you want to be, and the granddaddy of them all, a man-o'-war, the guy that your girlfriend tells you not to worry about. We are both metaphorically and literally in this thing's shadow. How the hell do we just board it, and how do we just capture it? I have to point out, when I said level 1 to 5, I didn't mean, oh, I just need to do one more quest and I'll get enough XP to level up. No, I meant that as in more of the, oh, he's a level above me, that must mean he has 50 million power and Rise of King. So don't be surprised if you lose half your HP chasing a merchant vessel. Happened to me as well. But are upgrades enough to deal with these things? Yes. Normal shot. You aim, you hold down for a second to increase the accuracy, you click it and it fires. Most damage is done if it hits a full broadside, but that means that you are open to an enemy's broadside. For a gunboated schooner, this means nothing. For a brig, it means nothing because they will prioritize ramming you. But for a frigate, and especially a man of war, make sure that you are never caught in their broadsides. They will absolutely do more damage than you, even if you increase your cannon count, which increases the amount of swivel shots that will open up after your cannons hit. The only saving grace, saving is a debatable term, is the waves. For any cannonball, yours or the enemy's, that is the water will do nothing. So if you catch someone in a wave, you can take free shots at their sails and deal a tiny bit of damage, whereas they will not since they only target the deck. Note that on top of doing less damage, you'll also never get a swivel shot by doing this. There are frontal cannons, but they're just way weaker than normal cannons. They're fewer in number, they do less damage, and no, damaging the sails doesn't slow down the ship. But upgrade, they can take out any annoying gunboats and schooners you may encounter, and they do get swivel shots. Fire barrels also exist. And a story. Some guys saw the trailer and saw how versatile the backward cannons were and saw how frontal cannons could be used in situations where broadside is impossible and said, nah. And then remembered the lead dev still owes him a favor and that's why we have these instead. They even have a ship with the backwards cannons. Why? Who hurt you? Also, you can ram them, because nothing says the best defense is a good offense, like praying to line up ahead, which will do less damage on broadside without the falling swivel shots, and do damage to yourself in the process and leaving yourself open to enemy attacks. Now let's move into something a little bit more Phil Swift level of dangerous. First up, mortars. Now mortars are another kind of thing. First level is but upgrade they can be pretty decent, but there are two big minuses that come with using mortars. First of all is that they are the rarest of all ammo types. Yes, you can buy them, but it's a bit of a waste of time to patch rollback support for that, although they aren't expensive. Always repairing a ship, which is a time sink. Now remember the first or maybe even second level isn't even that good. At level 3 and 4 they are actually really good in the max level marker, like take your low level frigate down to average speed or more I believe. But that's max level. The second big minus is that mortars can't be used in close range, so the main purpose will be to aggro enemies from afar or in those few scripted chase missions. Unless the enemy is coming towards you, it's unlikely you can use them much. You can use them in combat, and some more long-term combat or kind of with multiple ships, I would say it is a must, but again, kind of until later on. But the biggest minus would be the second one, about getting the enemy's attention, because we still got one trick up our sleeves. You think a broadside is cool? Well then. Heavy shots are what happens when a kid starts taking steroids. Question. Have any of you heard the tale of Thomas Cochrane? The British admiral who fell on the bad side of some of his superiors and thus was demoted to a captain of a small vessel? The range is cut down by a ton, but if there's one effective way to take down brigs and frigates...
Starboard! Ballast!
Then heavy shot is your man. Just watch out, they have them as well. And know that you can't raise or lower them, they will be straight horizontal from your angle. And thus, we are now ready to set sail. We have the pounders, we have the lads, we have the knowledge that Jerry's gonna have to throw out a shoebox to make way for 3 pieces of metal. And maybe if I remember, then we will also know how to watch out for rogue waves and the hurricanes that can one-shot entire ships. But just in case, remind me about those. Anything else we can do on the sea? Well, not much, but sure. We got Uncharted Isles with collectibles and those chests filled with tiny scraps of money. I would say that getting all 40 something will make you rich if each gives you 300, but I know that's not true and there's no secret golden treasure trove to be found. In Benjamin Hornigold's own words, finding an occupied mountain with gold coins is about as rare as pigs flying. So far for some shanties with the boys, looking at all the violent denizens of the New World. Ooh, dolphins! If I could shoot one of them and sell it for money, I would. There are some tiny uninhabited islands, some tiny ports. And when I say port, I mean it's a shantytown with a few sticks out front. So the smaller den where you can go pick up some ship resources when you're tired of hunting for ship resources. If bored, you can also go and single-handedly take down the largest colonial empire's forts and claim them for yourself, but... I'll mention why I hate them when I get to the schmooze section. Just remember to watch out for the hurricanes and the ships I'm throwing, you should be fine. Oh yeah, royal convoys. No resources, but a good bit of money. Although it's potentially a waste of time depending on how early on in the game you are, because most of these can only carry 2,000 gold. And if we make it through today, they will all be rich. But admittedly, sometimes unrestricted balancing as merchants can be a bit boring. And I will admit the early game's a bit slow. I mean, really you might just barely take down 2 brigs, this isn't enough for one upgrade. Oh my god, I forgot about the pirate hunters. So the more ships you attack, the more of these guys will consistently spawn to terrorize you. Starting from a brig and adding better and better ships with each level to do nothing else but harass you as you try to fight some goddamn metal around here. They have metal. Melt down all the soup cans I have! If you can survive each increase in level of pirate hunters, then you have found the best way to get the metal and money to upgrade your ship before unlocking the rest of the map. But good luck getting that far. Because without some help from Mother Nature to ensure you can take them on first and block some of their shots, it is highly likely that you won't get to survive a level 3 pirate hunter. That frigate and brig will mess you up.
Fasten yourselves!
Some damage here!
Another hidden way to David, Captain! We're almost to see our supper, Captain!
I think it's time we head back to shore, lads. Although this is one of those scenarios where more will be useful, and it does lead to one of my absolutely favorite things of all time. Now, I'm not a big fan of voice lines and voice actors. I got a few in mind that are either great or funny, but I never went past that. I like the additional voices for the crew.
Let out some sail!
So every single time I raise or lower the speed, Cameron gives it a call and then out of Walleye, everyone's second favorite Welshman, gives it a second confirmation command.
Hold hearty, lads! Furl those men!
I like how there are lines from the crew when we hit, miss, or being fired upon, or reloaded our cannons. And there are some great voices which I...
Barrel of wet fish? We're celebrating my retirement!
we'll get into later. But if there is one thing I would put on the top of my list of all-time favorite things in this game, then it is one voice by a random schmuck on the deck. Look, you can make a great game without voice lines and I'd be all for it. But if you can only make a bad game with good voice lines, then you're gonna have some problems with me. That's the only scenario where that rule doesn't apply. Now I'm a quarter of the way through my expected life. But let me tell you that there is no bigger joy than personally getting dissected by an enemy ship much stronger than you in enemy waters, just because these devs hit the best possible color line behind requiring you, the player, to not engage the enemy who you are engaging. And this voice line is a simple ship over there, what type is it, who it belongs to, and whether or not it's alone.
Hostile warship closing! Man of war, sir! Spanish ensigns! Just the lone ship, Cap!
Yes, you heard that right. It also includes what type. So this will apply to frigates and the toughest of the toughs in the man of wars, but it will also apply to brigs, the medium-sized vessels such as your own.
Schooner by the rigging! Royal Navy! They're all alone, sir!
Schooners, the merchant vessel that is glorified pickup truck with a musket, and even the tiny little dingy gunboat gets its own special line for itself.
Ship incoming, Captain! Tata! Royal Navy!
Do you know the light switch clicking on I had when I realized how you activate these voice lines? Do you know how many times I personally sailed through hostile waters just to hear these voice lines? About the same as when I realized that if you're fighting two ships, board one then re-engage the second one, the boat will still play.
Waiting orders!
Ship coming after us, sir! Man of war, sir!
Words cannot describe how sad I am about not knowing who the voice actor is for this guy, because I finally got an interest in one, and it's for an easily missable voice line. Please someone find out how to access every voice line in the game. I don't care about the cutscenes or the guards calling me an interloper or whatever, no. What I care about is sitting there on my deathbed and hearing
Spanish ensigns!
one more time before I sail off on the voyage of no return. That's what I want.
Lively Havana. I've been here once before. It was a truly awful pleasure.
Yar, lively Havana, Cuba. Kingston, Jamaica. Tortuga from all those pirate songs. Port Royale, there's nothing. Nassau, the largest town on the province and the home of the Pirate Republic. And of course, all the other wonderful places of interest in the Caribbean, such as Santinias, Tulum, which is a city on the Mayan Peninsula, Cape, Black Island, Mystery Island, these are some decorative elements I never cared about. Never forget the assassin country, which is some random island, and the treasure, which is the same from the cadaver. FYI, the coordinates are left, right, not up, down. And yes, there's at least one map which leads to two locations, only being on one. But yeah, just look at the map and run around until you find a flat circle area like any sort of vegetation growing out and hit you. God damn, that's a nice bit of money. Go around on rooftops and get those shanties for a crew. Just watch out for guards since running on roofs is illegal. Every single area on the map has at least some of these things. Some chests, some collectible, a tavern, and assassin's contract. Now one thing to note, you can have several assassin contracts all at once, and you can even fast travel with them, but not with naval contracts. The naval contracts only come 1 or 2 for every captured fort. And even still, it takes an experienced Jagabat like no other to teleport to 2 types of missions, so let me explain. First up, we have an assassin's contract. You enter a settlement, large or small, and find a bird coop. Then read what it says, just hit enter. Go to the location and now formulate a plan. You have a singular objective, kill the guy in piss yellow. If you do it without engaging in combat, you get an extra fire and gold. Now for any future missions. Engage in combat means get detected. The game doesn't care how you do it. So long as you land the killing blow before anyone detects you, you will successfully assassinate your target without engaging in combat. Whatever happens afterwards is not the contract's problem. So here's an example. Quite potentially the first air contract you'll have in Havana. Run over to the location with the red skull. Excuse me, sir, I need to get past you to kill your commander. We can see here that he's covered by a roof, so we will need to probably attack from the back, as he's in the front and thus could see us from the sides. Now this is an Assassin's Creed game. Noise doesn't exist. The bushes camouflage you to any sort of vision, including thermal. No one seems to care that one of their friends has gone missing. Wait for the 3 remaining soldiers to begin moving and then run in to land the killing blow before you get detected. Run away. Congratulations, you completed your first Assassin's contract without being detected and got the additional fire and gold from doing it stealthily. Now I will show you a second method. Again, return. Don't read it and hit enter. Run over to the red skull. Let's see here. You have the guy behind a wall of guys. Two in front. The back is open, but we have a guy on the roof overlooking the whole thing. Taking him out opens up a path. Remember what it said? Land the killing blow before, and I quote, engaging in combat. Have fun with all the next assassin contracts and enjoy the extra fun and gold from doing that without engaging in combat. Also, while on the topic, later on some guys, I don't know, I think they're called the assassins or something. I don't know, man, I was too busy staring into this footwear. They give you some drugs. One knocks out enemies, the other sends them into a blind rush to attack any single one of their comrades. The first is useful for stealth missions where you have to eliminate an enemy from afar, and the second one can be used to remove assassin contract targets just as well as anyone else in your way. We'll just simply fan out the crowd a bit. I will get into enemy types in a bit, but know that some guys kick more ass than the others. Also, whenever they get enraged, all people in the vicinity gather around them and you can use this moment to slip past. Now then, naval contract. Provided by our honest businessman and friend, Milo van der Graaf. A poor Dutch tradesman who has suffered greatly from the monarch's navies, competing merchants, and in general lack of trade goods, has unfortunately been brought so low as to seek the help of a pirate such as Edward Kennery. Truly a desperate time for honest businessman and friend. The naval contract works like this. You go pick one up, and then you merely hand in the resources you already have and leave. Okay, most of them actually go here and sink the ship or whatever. The golden pistols you get at the end are better than the assassin contract awarded gun swords, which are just as dope as they sound, if their animations weren't longer than normal weapons, thus leaving open for an attack. But still, come on. He's our good friend and honest businessman, Milo van der Graaf. Just ignore the pirate flag on the ship. That's just a technical limitation. He immediately went on to fight two men of wars in a frigate. If you ever get bored, then there's a fun mini game. Select throw money tool, throw money, and then pickpocket for a profit. Why is this tool available to the player? I will never know. Because the time it was used, it was against us and in one mission. But hey, it gives us a great reason to meet the people of the Caribbean. Okay, only really 3 places are noteworthy of mention. The first town is Havana, Cuba, with more stony buildings and stone fortifications. Nassau, New Providence, which clearly bears resemblance to a town which simply put sprang up. Since clearly the home of society is unwanted and unwashed as compared to any settlement that was thoroughly planned and maintained. Kingston, Jamaica, which features more wood, clearly showing as a settlement is at this point in time less than 2 decades old, and it features some noteworthy locations, such as Port Royal, one of the 2 original bases of pirates, right across Kingston, everything else that I forgot to read up on, and of course, every Assassin's Creed 4 player's favorite building, the famous Windmill of Kingston. Want something else other than plundering for naval resources? Here's a warehouse. To get in, you must find the guy with the key, get said key, over the warehouse of plundering for all its naval resources. The same applies to some of the smaller islands, including the infamous Florida. The location which will be ignored by anyone who doesn't want to collect a few coins on here, and thus miss the scripted scene in which the 2 burning ships off this island, a very normal Florida thing, is a scripted event where you must collect the resources on board before the ship heroically sinks to the bottom of the ocean as Edward here writes down in sorrowful poem about the unnamed ships and the missing crew that sank a rod goes away from the coast. This feels like a story from those old times where game developers would have a whole area created for a specific mission. Oh my god, the devs made an entire map based off the state of Carolina. There's a scripted British death and entire epic chasing to a town filled with redcoats and a scripted cutscene that only plays if you assassin target from one specific location. All for a box of medicines before leaving. Jesus, these devs were great. It's a shame we never again return to the east coast of the United States. There's a second mission off of the coast. It has the exact same theme as the gameplay trailer, including the sitting down part of the card players and then the run through the burning towns to get back to your ship. How far have we fallen since? Apologies about that. I was just thinking about how great this game would have been if we could have killed some more people, other than Brits and Spaniards. This game takes place before the American Revolution, so those aren't US citizens. Then again, fair point. There's still French Louisiana, but it's extremely underpopulated, and I believe the main hub was Quebec, Canada, so I'm glad they've been able to remove at least one Frenchman from this world. The only other power in the area would have been Portugal, but that's Brazil. This again doesn't reach to the coast of South America, so going more east would be extremely unlikely. There's an entire mission to sail from the Caribbean to an island off the coast of Central Africa just to go and kill some Portuguese people. Although I am slightly concerned about how the Portuguese mission side objectives were the biggest headache I received out of them all. It's kind of strange how a game about liberators and brings of peace and just to set in an era of, you know. It's made me want to kill more Portuguese people than any Paradox game. But even still, that free 2-part side objective? Yeah, there wasn't a single Portuguese man, woman, or child left on the island when I was done. And game, of course. What was I talking about again? Oh yeah, I know it's not historical, because, you know, Italy had no colonies. But I wish we could have killed some Italians as well, just to piss off my friend.
The visiting diplomat, Ruggero Ferraro.
Thank you, God! Oh, like any stereotypical Italian, his first act is to complain about the architecture of the town and drink a port of wine because rum is too poor for him. This isn't a murder, this is a gift unto the earth. No one will miss this man. Thanks for the drip. Looting. Useful for any ship-based upgrade. But if you're tired of me talking about ships and its upgrades, then go plunder a smuggler's den and steal a resource to upgrade your ship. Additionally, this will get you extra money for stuff such as useless fighters in a game where the combat is about as enjoyable as a fistfight with soap. Ladies for Nike IO. And there are the shots because there's one thing in AC4 that I would love to see in other games. Now AC4 is crafting. You know, health, ammo, more pistols, the usual. But there is one problem. They each need individual skins. For example, you want some more health? Oh, that's easy. 2 iguanas, 2 deers, 2 jaguars, 2 great white sharks. You want more pistols? 2 ocelots, 2 crocodiles, 2 humpback whales. Want more ammo for those pistols? 2 bigs and 2 hammerhead sharks, please. Now, if you were willing to go to the general store just to up and buy 2 whales and put them in your back pocket, then be prepared to spend a crap ton of money. But if you're going to pay such exorbitant fees for some monkey hides, there is an alternative. Now, little Timothy, let me ask you this. Over there is an ocelot. How would I get this ocelot, By stealthily climbing over it and I shoot it with a gun. Second question. How the hell do I get a whale? Okay, let me give you a little hint. So I could hunt a land animal because I had a gun, right? Right? Okay, now how would I hunt something bigger than my ship? Okay, here's a second hint. I have a flintlock pistol for the land animals. But on a ship I have this thing called a cannon. Now how would I hunt a whale? You would take your shirt off and lash the harpoons? You're goddamn right! Let me show you bastards how a real man fishes. It's not about the size, it's how you use it. How the hell are we storing this thing on our ship? It's bigger than the whole goddamn thing! Now repeat a second time. But what if they break free of the rope and swim away? Oh, well, that's easy. Step 1. Go down into the ocean after the bastard and skin him with a sharp rock. If you want to start the jellyfishes, urchins, eels directly in your path, sure. Then this can be a decent bit of cash. Just pray you don't die to the section where you can't move your camera and see the objects in front of you. Although it's much easier just to accept that you'll never get the final upgrade plans for your ship and simply never come here. Ignore the underwater smuggler ruins as well. Even if you're an assassin contract there and there's buried treasure in one, just never come here. They didn't even model Edward regaining his equipment, which is fair. They're going to use that as a point to prove that coming here is a bad idea and almost worse than all the boring trailing missions. Although the sea is quite nice. Oh, by the way, did I mention the indestructible aliens that, Sir or Madam, you are currently inside of the rock. Sir or Madam, you're currently walking on thin air. Well, never mind. As soon as you the party go over, do anything other than complete a challenge? But still, when too tired after a longer day of fighting defenseless merchants, you're always free to return plunder defenseless merchant wares and run up to deliver any sheets of paper. And collect all the other stuff. In fact, that's actually kind of recommended. I am an impatient bastard and I don't deny it. Let me tell you, Assassin's Creed 4 is one of the only games where the entire optional objectives are not only fun, but also kind of rewarding. Now sure, getting past these 2 lads by simply jumping over the little fence and picking up the chest is a bit much for 300 gold, a very insignificant amount. But coupled together with the assassin contracts and the synchronization points that act as fast travel points, it's extremely doable to do all these side objectives, becoming the I'm the guy that did all the side quests first guy. Instead of endgame gear, you just get a load of money that wasn't hard to get, not too time consuming, should have nice parts of town and still in the end helps you speed up your progression and unlock more upgrades. I am being 100% genuine right now. There ain't no super side lore or extremely powerful gear or go to this dungeon for an early game weapon. It's just some coin that will speed up the inevitable upgrades. Unlike in Assassin's Creed 2 where only rewards a crappy cloak and a hovel that doesn't look all that good. Unlike this game. Ignore the gun, that's my old friend trying to gun me down. But check out this rainforest-like jungle. If you've ever seen a place with chest here, I could have easily missed this, because this is the one and only time you may get to see this. Although while on the subject of side quests, this game has many side objectives. The collectible assassin cards, mail countries, forces take over warehouses, and maybe even seen one of those couriers run around that are great source of ammo. But this game does actually have a couple side quests. And now, let me show you one of Assassin's Creed 4's side quests. So we saw the map of assassin locations of the Templars, and now we head over to hell with the first assassin, Anto.
I may have brought it on you.
This means you owe me.
I love your voice. We follow some guards, chase one down and collect information. Relate us to Anto and then head over to begin the next mission, liberating his fellow brethren. Third mission, defend the Assassin's Bureau. Fourth mission, find the Templar and end it. Congratulations, you have completed one of the 4 side quests in Assassin's Creed 4. The other ones follow the same 4-step pattern. One is a tale of dynasty disputes caused by some Templar pussy.
Jin Lang, as I live and breathe.
I told him not to hire you. You traitor! I will not meet the same fate! Imagine.
Another one with Best Girl. This camera just stands there being shot.
It's Rona, right?
Kenway, looking for trouble, I assume.
So you haven't lost your charm.
And you're still boozy as a swilter. What do you want?
I've come to warn you. Your life's in danger.
Aren't you the crafty one? Whatever gave it away?
Possibly I had a hand in selling a sensitive document to one of those Templar chaps I'm so fond of.
Congratulations, your mission was a success.
How can I make amends?
You sober enough for target practice?
Anything for a lady.
And the bad one. Come on, that girl's afraid of 10 on a good day. Oh, wait, I never taught you how to fight.
What is your true name, Rogue? It's, Captain Pissoff.
Did your mother ever teach you? Never fight a Welshman in the streets. All of us know Shifu. Oh, Jesus, can't we stop? He's already dead. Alright, let's start with the melee. We got 3 weapons. The classic night out with the boys, the full English, and the Y. Fists are... there. The hidden blades are... better? Question mark? Then the sword is free stats. Speed, combo, and damage. Speed is how quickly you can attack and deal the next blow. Damage is... damage that will simply kill the enemy when their invisible HP bar reaches 0. The only other alternative is to do a guard break, which will leave the enemy open to a one-shot move. But then there is combo, which is how many times one must land repeated hits on an enemy to ensure a killing blow, no matter how much HP they have or how long they're fighting. Now, sea combat is amazing in the best part, but land combat, not so much. If you ever played Assassin's Creed 2 or one of the other games where they start adding health bars, then you should be very familiar with the system. Mash attack, counter attack with an insta-kill, break defense and repeat. That is it. We have 4 types of enemies. 5 if you count the gunners as the thing, but I don't since they are basic runs with a musket. We have grunts. No way to block your attacks, no way to counter your attacks, nothing special. Runners are guards with a knife instead of a blade or rapier, and yet they can block every frontal attack. Either counter, kill, or break your defense. I call them runners because in chases they are the ones who will knock you down. Brutes can block every frontal attack, are the only enemy type that has grenades instead of pistols, cannot be counter killed, but can still have their defense broken. Finally, there are commanders, the worst of the worst. Most HP? Actually, I don't know if that's true. Can be counter killed? Check. Block all frontal attacks? Check. And the only way to damage them in melee is to wait for an attack, click the counter button, and then mash attack and hope Edward doesn't auto-lock on some other guy mid-attack, and yes, that happens frequently. There are also counters who simply block the enemy, throw them away, or even disarm them, but... why? It's literally a free insta-kill, my guy. And it's the only way you'll ever realize that the devs made an entire animation for the ultra-rare instance in which 2 guards attack simultaneously. I only got like 2 of these in my 50 hours of gameplay. By the way, did I mention this entire animation for getting a double assassination on 2 people in a row instead of being next to each other? Which they always are. As previously mentioned, we have tools. Pistols can one-shot most enemies, and if you tell me this isn't cool, then you have no soul. But the brutes and captains may take an extra shot, so aim for the head. Especially in forts, because the forts will have the objective of taking out the commanders. This is slightly annoying since, as I said, the worst of the worst. Find any way to assassinate them, and if not, a headshot will always work. I hope you face as minimal of them in combat as you can, and I hope you never experience the joy of chasing one through a fort, because that is a thing. Just wait till I tell you about the board in combat. From a brig upwards, a captain and 2 runners are guaranteed. Brutes are random, and the swapping enemies mid-combat is so annoying because the game seems to prioritize enemies not engaged in combat despite the distance. Sleep darts are sleep darts, a silent takedown if you will. Berserk darts will cause friendly fire, and once you remember a commander can take out 3 or 4 grunts, then you will start getting some ideas. Especially if Berserk a gunner on a watchpoint who can easily get one shot in before anyone reacts, and a second by the time they climb up. Now I'd like to point out that if you're going for all the side objectives and you aren't an impatient bastard, then 1, that's up to you. I respect that you enjoyed this game enough to where you want an extra challenge. But stealth ones are boring, and some like the use of the fire barrels and the upgraded ramp, unironically making me question my faith in humanity. But if there's one thing I can give the devs credit for, it is that behind some of these optional objectives, they actually hide a pretty good incentive for the player to learn the game's mechanics. Case in point, the smoke bomb. A tool which you unlock at the very start of the game, but without used much in roof parkour since... why? When you didn't have brutes yet and thus couldn't resupply them without buying them, but which is the absolute best combat tool. Now the smoke grenade has but one ability. Whoever enters it gets stunned and loses aggro on you for the duration of the smoke. So if you're in a chase and you're running through an alleyway or any tight road, drop one of these and watch as all the enemy markers stop moving. But then, have a later reminder to use them in combat and realize, wait, the enemies are stunned, I'm not. Oh boy, free insta-kill city, here we come. While talking about tools, there's one more thing I would like to mention. Although it's not exactly a tool, but... shut up. The musket. Okay, look, hear me out. Actually, no, don't. If you know, you know, and if you don't, then I give you a chance of redemption. If you've never lived in the 21st century and thought, you know, the whole bullet diameter things are cool and all, but what if it was just a stone ball that got lodged into someone's cranium? Then you are not my friend. And if you have, then welcome to the creed, brother. Step 1. Kill a gunner or find a weapon rack. Pray that doesn't fly away. Pick it up. Step 2. Take aim. Step 3. Fire. And that is it. Got an optional objective to kill him with a rope swing? You need to kill someone sneakily inside of an armed fort without being detected. Every single time a musket is fired, the global testosterone level increases. Every time a musket is fired, all conflict ceases and peace is established upon the earth. Every time a musket is fired, a depressed person gets out of bed, cleans up the room and posts on Reddit. Every time a musket is fired, a starving African child gets an airdrop from KFC. Every time a musket is fired, an endangered species becomes an apex predator. Every time a musket is fired, man happy. Every time a musket is fired, an alternative universe is created where Nikio does in fact get the wench. Oh, but pizza de pasta, spaghettio, Chef Boyardee, Neapolitan pizza, the Leaning Tower of Pisa is supposed to be like that, Carthage deserved it, Venetian housing and affordability, tiny roads, ravioli, a little bambino covered in prosciutto, Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Nonsense. Everyone knows that reloading your musket is faster than switching to another weapon. And if all else fails, the musket has a bayonet for a reason, goddammit. Look at all these animations that the devs made for a weapon which you may have never used because you're too afraid. Now look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I have a couple of pieces of evidence to support my theory that the downgraded Ubisoft was an inside job with the WHO and the pharmaceutical companies to get the millennial and Gen Z generations hooked on antidepressants. So get out there, find a musket and steal it from the redcoats. And on the way also pick up the axe from the brutes, not because it's particularly good, but because it also has animations you never know about which you kind of shoot them. Because picking up weapons is a bit janky, but goddamn it ain't worth it. Oh look, it's a knife. Wait, why is that a tool? Wait, hold up. You're telling me that after some 4 playthroughs that I could have always picked up their knife and used it as a throwing knife? A weapon which I knew existed in previous centuries? Hold up, I need a minute to think this through. And with that, we are ready. Ready to schmoove our way over anyone on land, land in the sea, cave next to the sea, walk on land surrounded by sea, and even land underwater. Good thing these places don't have sharks. Although I am pissed that we have 2 more melee weapons which will never be used, since the fists and hidden blades can be upgraded. Now don't get wrong, I'm very happy to do the quest to get the hidden blades the damage I can before double executions finally. But other than that, why do they exist? That is the question I asked many times while playing this and I never got the answer. So it was handed to me on a silver platter and I didn't even notice. So there is a mission in which an optional objective is to kill 4 guards in one streak. Now I didn't exactly understand what this meant, so when I had just come out of restricted area and saw 4 grunts coming towards me, I initiated combat, and noticed how swiftly I took out each one with a singular hit and completed the side objective. Also, they just wanted you to find a scripted band that could be one-shot. Cool. It wouldn't be until a few weeks later when I was going through the next playthrough for this video that I looked up weapon stats and what the best weapons were, when I accidentally stumbled upon a post which mentioned a mechanic. A mechanic which apparently does exist in other games, but as someone who never played them, I of course didn't know. So just like me, those 4 grunts that I one-shot? Yeah, that wasn't scripted. That was blind luck. Turns out that I just experienced the Assassin's Creed 4 mechanic of chain kills. Chain kills are super simple. Whenever you land a killing blow, either by combo or counter kill, if the next attack is done by simply mashing attack and not running, or blocking, or anything other than mashing attack, and it is done on a grunt or a runner, then the next attack will be a kill. No matter their HP, no matter your combo on them, you land a kill. You continue and the next one will also be a kill. Why do I mention this? Well, because it also applies to the other 2 melee weapons, which is perhaps I never understood, until now. Yes, the swords are the best weapon, but in a game where combat depends on how many can you counter kill, stats aren't that important, and thus the window is open for you to just bash whoever you want, however much you want. Sure, I still recommend using swords for captains, but if you guard break on someone, then 9 times out of 10 is a kill. And if it's not, you can always do a double guard break and drop an enemy to the ground. Then it's a 100% kill with any weapon. This opens the path to even more killing blow animations, because if you thought the swords were cool, then oh my sweet Jesus, Edward is a bloody menace with them little knives. And don't tell me it's not cool to instead use the hidden blades for a running double assassination. See how Edward struggles to lift up the person with a smaller blade. Same for the fists. Now contrary to popular belief, I didn't frequently enter into fights because the women could smell the scurvy off of me. When I did, goddamn these unarmed finishers were deadly. This man could singly stop the knife crime in London with just a wrist. I'm not gonna lie when I tell you that upon learning this, I dropped the sword for a while and just went all in with them fists and hidden blades. I was robbing mine temples, fighting redcoats and Spaniards and looting ships with these hooks, and reminding people gravity's just an idea.
Captain Thatch, as I live and breathe. What is this magnificent muzzle you've cultivated?
Why fly a black flag when a black beard will do?
Yar, listen up, you little short noses. Back when I first signed up with the King's Navy, I was a privateer against the Spanish until peace was made. There it was that I followed the more braver kind over and it was there that I met the legends of the flying game, or as you were going to call them during the events of the game, the boys. We're talking Benjamin Hornigold, Edward Thatch, Charles Vane, Jack Rackham, unfortunately, Stede Bonnet, the Cock Stealer, Anne Bonny, and another mention to Bartholomew Roberts. All of whom, and the Republic, are based off of the actual people of the same name, same ship, and same personality. Let's go down the list. Benjamin Hornigold. Probably a bit too young for this period, but he is what could be considered the founding father of the Pirate Republic. The game takes place too late to show any of it, but if him being the first sailing story guide didn't already tell you what you need to know, you can thank him for the pirates being a thing on Nassau. Edward Thatch. Hang on, he was better known by his nickname. I forgot what it was. It had something to do with his black beard. Beard? Check. Proficiency in combat? Check. Violence, which wasn't actually a characteristic of pirates? Check. Seizure of a French vessel and being renamed to Queen Anne's Revenge? Check. Charles Vane. Vane was known for his cruelty and in court documents is said to have beaten and interrogated sailors from ships he captured. That sounds absolutely nothing like our boy, Charles Vane. Charles Vane. There's no other person in the whole of Nassau who I would rather take on a romantic walk down the coast. Shay Manso has a deeper voice, but I will take it. Alright, hold up. Where's his autobiography? So, was a pirate, was Rogers of Piers, one of the only boys to say, nah, I'd win. Makes out of the blockade, keeps on being a pirate until...
Goddamn fucking knave, Vane!
It's sad to see the madness get to him. He would have made the finest veterinarian of the New World if he was simply given the chance. There was no one else who could materialize farms and explosives on an abandoned island while changing the weather in the blink of an eye. Also, I would love an alternative universe where we get to see the dictatorship of Nassau. Calico Jack Rackham. I would have given every bit of gold in the world to see this man die in prison. Steed Bonnet. Wait, you mean the Bermudan guy we found at the barrel end of a British musket, who somehow wandered his way onto Blackbeard's ship was the real person? Sometimes history is stranger than fiction. The Cockstealer.
Getting pissed ain't a priority. Ready?
Your name's not James, is it?
Not most days. Come on.
And Bonnie. If people didn't know her story, then they probably would have had many questions about the bartender who got on a pirate ship for a whole 5 minutes. Look, Anne, you're like a 5 out of 10. But you're not him. You're not Adewale, everyone's second favorite Welshman. Also, you're not the Cockstealer. Bartholomew Roberts, aka Black Bart. Now this one isn't historical because it's an Assassin's Creed game, but the Welsh origins, death of their captain on a Portuguese island off the coast of Africa where Roberts became captain, capture of a Portuguese captain who led them through a Portuguese fleet where they stole the most valuable ship in the pack renaming to the Royal Fortune, mostly checks out. Everything beyond this is dubious at best, but I'll take whatever I can to make me read up on it and realize that running Wild's letters were historically accurate. An honorable mention goes to the Welshman, the Schmoozer, the giver of S-word passes, Adewale.
I love this big black guy. It's cool.
Quartermaster of the Jackdaw, destroyer of dance competition, and an intellectual individual whose first words out of the womb were, I wanna blow up London. Absolute lad. One of the boys. There's no better friend in this entire world for everyone's favorite Welshman. That is, before he has a change of heart and decides that perhaps hurting unarmed merchants isn't the best course in life. And so he heads off to join the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. What's that? Oh yeah, right, it's the people, you know, the people, the people against the people and the you know, them. What? This was probably done because of the whole morality thing, since this game is set during a time period when slavery was still, you know? And since Edward, it's a bit difficult to do a 180 and have become a liberator of the New World's populations. I'm all for this being the best Assassin's Creed game by being the least Assassin's Creed game.
And I'd rather not cut your lips off and feed them to you.
But it still bothers me knowing that Assassin's Creed is a game about the creed of liberators. It's a bit strange to make a game during this time and not have a portion of the game be about freeing the slaves.
Remember, the Templars coin like any will buy the freedom of men like you.
Oh geez, I'd have always better cut up some dudes like sugarcane. Welcome to Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti, at the moment a French colony, and a prime place to buy up any agricultural machinery from a six-star plantation or inside a slave revolt. Alright, so Adewale's dish came when he joined the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. He was on some mission but became stranded and decided to help out while here. We got to free slaves from the town, plantations, and slave ships, all while working with a sort of double agent who communicates with the French governor and an independence fighter. We ain't got no barbaric dual swords or cold pistols. Nah, we got the good old machete and blunderbuss. Side objectives? Meh. Just continue to do the same amount of coin and it'll make you cream right then and there. Until you realize that money is kind of useless. Actually collecting resources and sailings also, because like, the slaves just give the best loot. And you already start with an almost maxed out ship, and pretty much every time you board someone you will get a monster level. And in this one you can't pay to repair ships or lower infamy. Alright, look, I wasn't the biggest fan of the DLC. I liked the base game because on land, combat was Alright, and stealth was mostly an afterthought. I could pick up chances in Assassin's Quest on the way to substitute the portal ward from the chest. At sea, I could plunder left, right, down, censoring out financial and material incentives to attack several ships. If my one level ever got too high, I could easily pay it off at any settlement, which was already unlocked because the DLC has few reasons to explore apart from unlocking some new weapon variations. And again, the ship is almost max level. You could take on a man of war as soon as you set sail and win. Also, no shanties with the crew. Only plus side is that there is only one shipwreck and it's 100% optional. But, come on devs, you shouldn't have. That was a threat, by the way. And the story was alright and interesting, but the stealth was annoying. Having to free slaves to unlock new missions was a bit of a hassle. Yes, you did get upgrades on the way, but oh my god, I hated the plantations. One misclick or one guard noticing a body and thus being ready to detect you in an instant without any warnings, and their guards will immediately run up to kill slaves and reduce your takeaway. Not much, but yay for anxiety. The jailers weren't difficult enemies, but because they would aggro you, you were forced to get to the roof or dodge them all the time. Combat felt a bit slow, well, slower than usual for waiting for counter kills or the captains. Although that may have just been me because you couldn't simply buy the best sword and stuff to kill everyone. Thank God for smoke grenades. And the characters themselves were... meh. The lady was more interesting back when we thought she was an enemy. The governor we barely saw. The scientist would have been far more interesting if he tripped sometimes. The freedom fighter was unassuming when we freed him after his camp was destroyed and did nothing else to show his capabilities. And Adewale? Well, I mean he's Adewale, but I mean our Adewale was a homie, you know? He'd be schmooing left, right, down, center. He'd be keeping the Jaito in order with his own two hands. His mission with the assassins is a nice touch, but we begin the game with, oh no, several enemy ships, we have to run away. It's a piss poor portrayal of an ex-pirate. Also, he runs like this at a girl's room to go plant the seed. Hey, that's a quest name. I'm just saying, Kenway would have beaten his way through the bar and slept with her before buying the whole damn town. Not saying the story should be taken slightly. But Adewale is sneaking around, causing infighting, but I don't know how else he can swap out a letter to give 3 little slaves on board a ship which will measure how round the earth is. Wow, this is how far we have fallen, huh? If you think that's bad, then I hope you didn't like the base game being the least Assassin's Creed game, because this DLC has a couple stealth sections and trailing missions. It's like 90% of the game. At least I got to see him shirtless. Not that there's any crafting or much incentive to sell the skin. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Freedom Cry DLC. Freedom Cry Adewale out of AC4 Adewale. At least I can do this. And plus points for despite the map being the same but smaller with only one settlement to visit, it did also feature remnants of the forts which we can presume were either abandoned after the pirates were destroyed in other wars, since the game does take place some 10 years later. Shame we couldn't go in. If the game wasn't so short that I completed in 4 hours the first time and still got 97% synchronization, then I might have something more to say, but land had little to do apart from too much stealth or too much fighting for meager rewards. And the only thing worthwhile on sea only appears periodically and guarantees a hunch will chase you, so you gotta sink 2 ships for repair and reduce infamy. Look, the only thing saying this DLC is the fact that this is Adewale, the guy who... Wait, hold on. Hold up, Prince. French colony, French flag, French ships, white people in the French colony. The white use of French accents. Brits attacking the French ships with the French royal coat of arms. We're not killing Brits or Spaniards or Portuguese. We're killing Frenchmen. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Freedom Cry DLC. 30 stars Liberated or 40 stars Liberated. The best Assassin's Creed game, even better than a base game. Get out there and kill enough snail suckers so you unlock the gold skin for your machete. If Napoleon wasn't busy by becoming the most renowned Frenchman by not being a Frenchman, and instead sells ass over here and set eyes on Adewale, then there would have been some fine French KFC that night, let me tell you.
Your name is legendary among the slaves, even as far north as Newport. I believe you will have more success. She was last seen on Goat Island.
Someone remind me to look up why this exists, but only after I finish the script, because at this point I'm doing it for the joke. But first of all, I didn't even know this existed and I thought it was a joke. I know that there are some AC games which have several characters and I thought this being here would lead me to the Ubisoft store and ask me to buy a DLC for that AC game, but no, this is a separate DLC. It exists. So, I have a line. It begins with someone and something I don't know anything about because it's based on a different AC game. We free slaves. Ignore the new weapon because it doesn't let us double assassinate unless we equip the hidden knives. Next mission, run some more, sit back here and just watch your friend get robbed and let the bad guy leave. Next mission, run, don't go too far ahead of the teleporting lady who moves about as quickly as her health bar flip. Next mission, run, don't go too far ahead of the teleporting lady who moves about as quickly as her health bar. Flip 2 levers, climb, assassinate, barely ascends. Wanna go do something? Yeah, sure. The end. I was tired and I thought to play at most an hour of this to chill for a minute, and I complete the whole thing in less than 30 minutes. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Avalanche DLC. I guess I don't know. Look, I don't know if there were major budget restrictions or this plays into another AC game or something, but I want to put as much effort into this as they did in comparison to the base Assassin's Creed 4 game. By the way, what were we last talking about over there? Wait. So Steve Bonnet was an actual pirate, and the Jack was probably based off the story that only one identified ship survived the sinking of the Spanish treasure fleet. And there are historical characters with their historical ships and flags. The different nationalities speak their own languages. With Rogers, Long Bay is an actual place in Jamaica. Database entry for the Church of Emmanuel that it wasn't built yet. Jesus Christ, these guys did their history. I'll give them a pass about Port Royale that time is fast, and Tortuga I didn't even know about. But that's even older. Makes me wonder if I missed anything else. Kind of like, wait. The 9/11 of 1718 was a historical event, and it was partially led by our boy, Charles Vane! I mean, I doubt it didn't have time to implement physics Altair over here was in it, but goddamn.
You'd raise a cloud here, lout! You sat on enough gunpowder to blow New Providence off its rocks!
Lay off me, mate. I'm well chafed.
As I was telling, a squad of lobsters has commandeered our galleon.
You know, while here, I should probably check out what else was true. Let us see. What is 1718 known for?
No! Oh God! No!
Hey Blackbeard, do you know? Blackbeard? Okay. Calm, Edward. At least our boy, Charles Vane, is still willing to help out. As long as Jack Rackham doesn't betray us, everything will go alright. But we still have Bartholomew Roberts with the key to the super artifact. And he would never hand us over to Brits where we would witness the death of the cockstealer. Oh, and then his second Welsh in command leaves as well. This truly is the end of the golden age of piracy. Apart from Man Bonnie, he is the only pirate against the whole of the UK and Spain. And the man made a promise to only remain until he had enough coins to return back home. This is a dark day for our friend. Who does he have left?
There is time to make amends, Captain.
Look, I know you hate me because I almost caused your destruction. I'm too ignorant and headstrong to follow your philosophy, and I'm a pirate, not a liberator. But could I join your D&D games or whatever it is that you nerds do? Well, we would need someone to go and do a tailing mission. No. Then wait a few minutes for an assassination, 2 impassion, then return to Van to talk to surviving best girl. Ooh, tough offer. Then a second tailing mission followed by a stealth section. I would rather stick it in a barrel of gunpowder and light it on fire. Then we need someone to take down 2 man wars and kill a bunch of Spaniards with counter kills. Let's see how well they can swim, lads. Excuse me, I forgot my wallet. I need to pay the parking fine. Lewis says what? Yeah, Ligma. I always remember a gun walks into a pub and says, "Which one of you shagged my sheep?" The guy from the back yells out, "Buddy, there ain't enough bullets for all of us." I have come to make an announcement. Yeah! Nice sword you got there. What are you compensating for? The lack of a gravity for pulling your body? Did your mother ever teach you? Never fight a Washington in the street. All of us know sheep food. Bruce Lee? Jackie Chan? How about no? Alright, that's it, Templar Master. You are finished. Oh, shit. Oh god, I have to land this jump perfectly or else I would get evaporated by the piss beam. Alright, Edward, hold it together. Remember what piracy taught you. Alright, first step. Pythagoras' theorem. We need C, which we can get by B and A. I've already made the measurements before and I know that A is and B is, so the C equals 2. Next step. Wind speed is we are in a building. Next step. Newton's first law of motion. Clearly we can see we are being pushed forward, which means that according to this law, we are going forward. And finally, the whatever this thing was called. But wait, you say, if we follow this, then we will go through the wall and end up Assassin's Creed Rogue. But remember, gravity! Get back here, you standing man! Sorry, Templar Master. You fought with someone who nearly failed 7th or 8th grade physics. Now then, my strangely dressed Comic-Con friends, I'd love to join you on your journeys of bravery and heroism and blah blah blah. But I think I'm a kickback, return to high seas piracy, but not before return to my wife who has waited many years to see me again. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. A pet cat out of a pet dog. Or in sailor tongue, a yar when I be in a walk the plank with scurvy competition and my opponent be a scallywag out of a John Landlubber. I love this game. I love the naval combat. I generally love the normal combat. I love the muskets and the pistols. I love the boys. I love how this game can nearly be considered as a historically accurate material for research purposes, but I guess we'll have to stick with running well lyrics for now.
Remember, Thatch, keep your cannons port. Piss off, Ben.
The missions were
Well done.
okay. But it's ironic how the most Assassin's Creed missions were the worst ones. I hate or dislike most of everything else, especially how long it takes to level up your ship early on in the game, not being able to skip the final cutscenes of a mission, Jack Rackham existing, but it's something that a good old musket can't fix. If this game had Steam achievements, then I might have gotten all of them. But till then, here's a map completion and every single Uncharted fragment, and just as compensation, ending me at 99% synchronization. So come on, lay aboard lads, and stop watching cringe content. Here's some Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag gameplay. It's prizes and plunder and adventure ahead. Here's to gentlemen of fortune and women of leisure. To a world full of rogues better than all the kings and queens that kick us about. Get your rum, get your lads, get your preferred running wild, Ailstorm, Rum Ahoy, Patty and the Rats, Blazing Stone, We Are Ye Banished Privateers, Pirate Hymn, Lagerstein Album, or a song from Jonathan Young, The Longest John's, a Pirate Life YouTube channel, or just one of the in-game sea shanties or tavern songs, or whatever else I may have missed. Auto park your vessel because Tech Bro is malign to you and we've had self-driving vessels since the early 18th century. Plunder your mom's credit card, wait for a seasonal sale to feel like a robber, almost lose access to your Ubisoft account and all the Steam games tied to it, and then realize several hours in that there is a longer rope above the deck, and that there are more sea shanties than just Drunken Sailor. Plot out a short journey to discover one or two locations for fast travels, and on the short journey on the way be involved in a war-sized battle, royal convoy, man-o-war, technically a port, ya boy, not to be confused with the cattle fishes during the hurricane, and take over an Empire's port all on your own. And this is one of the more uneventful afternoons in this game. So grab your firearms stolen from a British or Spanish army depot, get on a cruise liner, hijack it, sail to Cardiff and break John's Sheepshag Rabbit containment, and then recreate the Lisbon earthquake because sail straight into Nassau. Don't worry, the ladies will protect you. To fulfill the lifelong goal of every single Assassin's Creed 4 player, and set up a petition to acknowledge that every statue and imitation of which rider should be taken down, for not him who should be hailed the city's founding father or a great figure, but instead, ya boy, Benjamin Hornigold. Now, a traitor he may have been, but first of all, that facial hair. Second of all, he was one of the boys. And third of all, despite us not supporting any of his actions, we were smart enough to realize that Assassin's Creed 4 did a piss-poor job of representing how it was Hornigold's own shoulders that had to carry the entire pirate island against the British and then probably the Spanish Empire. He may be a traitor, and rightfully so, but at the end, he did what was best for Nassau, and let it be known to the modern denizens of Nassau that it's only because of the man who YouTube auto-subtitles as Hornigold that the city still stands and wasn't burnt to the ground by the British. God, I do not take back all the slander said onto that man's magnificent sideburns, but let me tell you, the only one who deserves to go to hell is Jack Rackham, because there isn't one good thing about that guy. And also a second petition to finally settle the argument that starting a game by having your parents killed and being carried by a painter, while the only noteworthy line is, "Hey, it's me, Mario," was lame before they had to squeeze out 2 more games about the same old part. I'll be over here single-handedly defeating the British and Spanish empires, the British twice, you don't talk about hate unless it's his martial skill. This is because Ubisoft knew if they continue the Kimwell and the Assassins would have won and the series will be over. And we'll have plenty of time to set up that petition in Nassau, as this game, even with all its flaws in combat, low naval build-up, multiplayer that on PC works once every time a world-ending meteor passes Earth, everything to do with the underwater sections, crappy side objectives that thankfully are optional, the realization that there's nearly 30 minutes of finisher animations and most of them you haven't seen. The annoying ports, enemies fighting you in a fort after giving up, blocking access to the thirds of the map for a while, a painful amount of tailing missions, thank God can't weigh his knees or brass. A guy who had enough favor with the lead dev to have fire barrels added along with an elite fire barrel plan. Constant bugging with some BS about the super spy device and the guy who's alive again after 4 centuries and not you! Gets a gamer seal of approval for creating an unskippable credit scene that you don't want to miss out on.
And what about pirates? Will I see pirates?
No. Not much chance of that, I think.
Oh, that's rather sad. I should have liked to have seen one.
Yar, we're gonna make a fine sea rash like this one, lads. It's moments like these that make me think that maybe, just maybe, we will all make it, lads. Yar, I think I'm crying.